If you want to view paradise, simply look around and they'll spoof it. There's nothing to it. June 2nd. I saw this earlier on Silver Doctors. Oh my God. I must be dreaming. Someone punch me in the face. Somebody pinch me. Somebody do something. CFTC, the regulator for the commodities market, finds former, this is their own press release, finds former trader David Liu engaged in spoofing and manipulation of the, wait for it, gold and silver futures markets, and permanently bans him from trading and other activities in CFTC regulated markets. And in accepting Liu's offer of settlement, the CFTC recognizes Liu's cooperation during the Division of Enforcement's investigation in this matter, including his entry into a formal cooperation agreement with the division, his provision of substantial assistance to the investigation, and his undertaking to continue to cooperate with the Commission, the division, and any other governmental agency in connection with the subject matter of this order. James MacDonald, the CFTC's Director of Enforcement, commented, quote, "Today's enforcement action demonstrates that the Commission will aggressively pursue individuals who manipulate and spoof in our markets. Today's action also shows that while holding individuals accountable for their conduct, the Commission will give meaningful cooperation credit to those who acknowledge their own wrongdoing, enter into a cooperation agreement, and provide substantial assistance to the division in its investigations and enforcement actions against others who have engaged in illegal conduct." This is the CFTC. You see, a little while back I did a video and I said, oh great, we're replacing some of the people in the CFTC, you know, now that Obama's out and the club's out, and Gary Gensler, as I always called previously, Gary the Turd Burglar Gensler was my nickname for him, left to go run Hillary Clinton's financial campaign during her campaigning. And I've said, well, that's an interesting sign, because we already knew who he was aligned with anyways, the club, and he went to go run Hillary's. So now that Trump's in there, there's a little shakeup going on in the CFTC. Some new guys came in, and there's an article by Ted Butler, who I'm about to read you another one right now in a second, who names these 2 or 3 guys that have taken over essentially the CFTC. And I quickly went online, Googled their names, and said, oh no. Don't be too excited, guys. Guess what? Guess where these guys come from? Club member. Ah, man, just when you thought, ugh. But Ted Butler, and I emailed him because he said, look, we all need to email. He wrote up the letter, the blatant manipulation, everything. Just keep pounding the CFTC. Send the new guys. They're brand new. Send these 2 guys this letter. Let them know we understand what's going on. We're watching. Nothing's been done. We really expect them to do something. And a lot of people did. And I actually emailed Ted Butler because I'd found out who these new guys were. And nobody at that point had said who the new guys were. No YouTube videos. No one covered this. So I found it, and it's like, uh-oh, not looking good. And I think I might even post it on Bix Weird's channel, because he posted something about it too. And I'm like, not looking good, guys. Check this out. And I emailed that to Ted Butler. He kindly replied and said, yeah, but, at least if we don't stick it in their face and we don't try, basically, nothing gained, nothing earned, or whatever, nothing earned, nothing gained. And I'm like, yeah, makes sense, but, I'm not holding my breath. We got 2 guys. I did their research. These guys are freaking club members, from what I could tell. And I found out right away where he used to work. Oh, come on. That one. Oh, him too. Right. Wasn't holding my breath on it. But to see this take place now, so either we still shouldn't hold our breath and there's nothing to see here, or this is a new move in a very positive light. Now, first, the reason why it might just be the same old, there's nothing to see here. Now, number one, this isn't normal for them to ever do this. But we also have heard Deutsche Bank, we admit this trader, whatever traders, we're spoofing markets, we're rigging markets, we admit guilt. We're going to give you the conversations that this trader, trader A, trader B, trader C, trader D have with each other about rigging the markets and crushing the silver markets and all that. So is the CFTC basically put in a position where, guys, we can't not do anything? They've already admitted guilt now, so we now have to do something. And we're going to offer this individual, you know, Trader A. This is probably Trader A, this guy. What was his name? Liu. Mr. Liu. David Liu. We're offering him basically pure immunity. Except he's not going to be able to trade anymore the rest of his life in our markets. But we're going to offer him immunity from any kind of criminal prosecution for him working with us and giving us, you know, bringing other names to us. Well, it's my opinion, it's going to be the same names that we already pretty much, we don't know their names yet, but it's the same people that Deutsche Bank, through him or whatever, already said, we're going to work with you and give you the names anyway. So now the CFTC can't just sit here and do nothing. They've got to pretend to do something, right? So either A, that's what's going to happen, and while this sounds exciting to me, nothing to see here. Slap on the wrist, plea deal, plea bargain, have a nice day, piss off. And nothing happens. Or B, they're actually going to do something. This is real. They didn't have to do this, but they did. And they're letting everybody else know. We know there's a bunch of you out there. We're willing to let you come forward. We'll give you immunity if you start naming names. Small fish, catch the big fish, catch the bigger fish. I honestly don't know which one it is. But seeing how everything in the past is, I'm leaning towards point A. But then again, how much stuff is being exposed on the internet and corruption, and we're nailing these people. The fraud is coming to light finally. Finally. So maybe there's a glimmer of hope. Pick up your fake hopium and smoke it so that we hope that this is actually something. So I want to give you Ted Butler's shocked, essentially, response, which he has an article he wrote, and it's on Silver Doctors. And I feel the same way, but again, is it A or is it B? Nothing to see here or something to see here, and get ready for silver manipulation and gold manipulation to end, which is interesting because the timing, Webbot talking about when we would see crypto start to really take off, and I'm talking about several reports ago, when crypto, like I think maybe last year, 2016, towards the end, when they start taking off, would be a sign that silver and gold start to really finally move. Which, not that they moved a lot, but it's only a few dollars away from $1,300 now, gold. Silver is $17.75. It's back to 18 again. Not that these are huge numbers, but, you know, we always like it when it starts going up, right? So anyways, let's read this. I was shocked by Friday's announcement by the CFTC of an order and simultaneous settlement of manipulation charges on COMEX, gold, and silver futures. I first saw it in a Zero Hedge article and subsequent articles on Bloomberg and in the Wall Street Journal, but all those accounts were somewhat off target compared to the CFTC announcement itself. This was one of those rare cases where the source announcement was much clearer than the articles describing it. I would ask you to take some time to read and reread the actual announcement from the CFTC, including both the press release itself and the complete order, which he links both, and I will link this site so you can read both if you'd like. Matter of fact, I urge you probably should. In essence, for the first time in history, the CFTC has brought charges against someone for manipulating the gold and silver markets exactly in the manner I have described for decades. This is so astounding on its face that I hardly know where to begin. In addition, I'm writing this less than 24 hours after reading the announcement, so I reserve the right to alter my opinion as time evolves, but there is much to say at this point. While it is true that the agency brought these charges against a former junior trader, of an unnamed foreign bank, said to be Deutsche Bank, of course, the price manipulation occurred during the time of the CFTC's infamous 5-year formal silver investigation. You'll remember that the original investigation by its enforcement division previously concluded that there was no manipulation charges worthy of pursuing. There's nothing here. Clearly something changed the CFTC's mind. Also, please note that all the alleged price manipulation took place on the cesspool, also known as the COMEX, and not on any of the foreign exchanges often bandied about, which is more interesting. Not even the LBMA. No, this is the COMEX. Further, as the press release makes abundantly clear, This is no one-off by the agency. I don't think I'm exaggerating in the slightest to say that the press release reads more like an open solicitation for others to step forward to provide information pertaining to COMEX gold and silver futures manipulation. Again, please read the documents. I don't know what I am more shocked by. The announcement of manipulation in COMEX gold and silver futures, which means they finally admitted it, right? Or the very obvious intent by the Commission to pursue this further. As for what persuaded the Commission to effectively change its mind about a precious metals manipulation centered on the COMEX, I don't know where to start, since I have been petitioning the CFTC for decades about this very matter. But this isn't about me, and instead involves the long-term occurrence of the most serious market crime possible, price manipulation. So let me put this on fast forward in trying to explain why the CFTC chose now to wake up to a manipulation it should have seen more than 30 years ago when I first began to petition the agency about a COMEX silver manipulation. I think it has to do with one man, not me. He says, a little less than 2 months ago, I took the occasion of 2 new appointments at the CFTC to petition the agency again to intervene in the ongoing silver manipulation, and I also asked others to write in as well. I did so on these pages and in the public article titled Another Opportunity. Again, I thank the many hundreds of readers that took the time to write to the agency. Unless I'm badly misreading what is occurring, it looks to me as if our collective efforts may have finally paid off. If you read the CFTC's press release, you'll undoubtedly see or note that the official quote is James McDonald, the new director of the Enforcement Division, and one of the 2 new officials we wrote to. In addition, I also sent McDonald all of my articles, as I have always done with past enforcement directors. In a subsequent article on April 19th, I wrote how I received private comments attesting to McDonald's high level of integrity and hoped out loud that he might be the one to break away from the Commission's prior recalcitrance for seeing the silver manipulation as it really was. Again, unless I'm badly mistaken, my hopes may have been fulfilled. When I decided to write to the CFTC yet again on the occasion of the new appointments, I had 3 potential outcomes in mind. The first was that nothing much would change, meaning the new appointments would quietly fall into line with the previous position that no manipulation existed or could possibly exist in the COMEX silver. In that case, we would all be out the time it took to write the agency, not a particularly serious downside. I also thought it possible that if a new high-level CFTC appointee became convinced of the merits of my allegations and saw that he was up against an agency that should, but wouldn't address this most serious matter, that someone with a high level of integrity might quickly resign his position. It wasn't my primary goal to back an honest man into a corner. But hey, I wasn't causing the manipulation, nor did I have anything to do with anyone being appointed. Finally, I thought that if an honest man did become convinced that my allegations had merit and decided not to resign, but instead live up to the deep responsibilities entrusted to him, then that man would endeavor to do the right thing. And truth be told, I thought that should this be the outcome, then there would only be a fairly short period of time before that would become apparent, something like a month or 2. After all, how long would an honest man wait before acting against the most serious market crime possible that was in conflict with the agency's prime mission? I would submit that James McDonald is that honest man, and yesterday's press release certifies that. Not for a minute do I think that yesterday's case against the junior trader was initiated after McDonald's appointment, as such cases necessarily involve long lead times. What I'm suggesting is something else. Yesterday's announcement would have never taken place were it not for McDonald. That's because the announcement was shocking and not in keeping with prior agency findings. It was either Bring the case or McDonald was out of there. Further, the announcement was more of an open invitation for others to step forward to drive an investigation into silver manipulation than it was anything else. Some may ask why the CFTC is going after junior level traders when the crime of manipulation is as institutional as it gets. This looks quite measured and deliberate. Let's face it, the CFTC has dropped the ball on going after the silver manipulation for decades, and because of that, has dug itself into a deep hole. It would be nice if the agency just came out and said that it blew it by not reacting years earlier, but there was never any realistic chance of that. This is the best it can do at this point, and it fits in perfectly. If you read the announcement, I hope you are struck by the description of what the junior trader is alleged to have done wrong and the similarity to what I allege on these pages twice a week. The order did not reference managed money technical funds being snookered by the commercials, yet that is exactly what the junior trader is accused of. The announcement even uses the word induced to describe the intent of the spoofing and fake price signals, same as the words I use regularly. McDonald is no dummy. If he knows some traders are inducing others to buy and sell so that those manipulative traders can position themselves against the duped participants, as it clearly spelled out in the complaint, then he also knows that is proven in the COT data. There is little doubt in my mind that the announcement is a shot across the bow, so to speak, for the institutional manipulators like JP Morgan and Bank of Nova Scotia. He is taking a bottoms-up approach, getting smaller traders to turn on larger fish up the food chain when he could just as easily use the COT data to prove the manipulation. And he is doing so for very good reason, namely because the CFTC cannot come out and admit they blew it for 3 decades. They have to find another way. Pretending to go after little fish is a way of telling the big crooks that the jig is up. Nearly 8 years ago, I wrote an article entitled The Bomb Squad, in which I described the plight of then CFTC Chairman Gary, the turd burglar, Gensler, in trying to defuse the price bomb created by the silver price manipulation. I warned that he must be very careful, as trying to dismantle the manipulation could blow up in his and his agency's face. Gensler failed for a number of other reasons, but the sad part is that the market terrorists at JP Morgan, while coming to protect itself with its massive physical silver accumulation, has only added a lot more explosives to a silver bomb that still must be detonated someday. I am convinced that McDonald and the agency now realize things have gone too far, and it's time to try to arrange the best outcome possible. Having missed it all these years, the options still open to the agency are now quite limited. The best alternative for the CFTC may be to signal to the big manipulators like JP Morgan that the game is up and let the crooked commercials on the COMEX resolve matters for themselves so that the agency can pretend the manipulation is unwinding of its own accord. This way, the CFTC can maintain the cloak of deniability and finally end a completely broken price discovery process that has now come to infect other important markets. The time for instituting legitimate position limits, which would have ended the manipulation many years ago, has long passed. Besides, how does the Commission get around the secret and illegal agreement made between JP Morgan and the U.S. government when the bank rescued Bear Stearns in 2008? The simple answer is by an end run. Whatever that agreement entailed, it was never intended to last in perpetuity. 9 years of looking the other way is long enough, at least for an honest man. Perhaps the only way to demonstrate to the big COMEX commercial crooks that enough is enough is to do what the CFTC just announced, a deepening investigation into COMEX silver manipulation as fair warning to end the scam. As I've said, maybe I'm all wet and James McDonald is not the contentious and honest regulator that I've made him out to be. In that case, the silver manipulation may not be coming to a head, as I've suggested. Time will tell. Interestingly, the key factor is still, will the stone-cold crooks at JP Morgan sell aggressively short into the next silver rally? Still, I can't see how yesterday's announcement is not a blockbuster event. Ted Butler, for subscription information, please visit butlerresearch.com. If what he said, and again, he's like he said, he's not 100% sure either, but it sure looks good. I'm certainly not 100%, but it does look good, right? This isn't supposed to happen ever, right? If we start to find silver and gold rising and rising and rising, we're going to say, boom, manipulation, it's ending. The CFTC's move proved it. Oh my gosh, where's silver going to go? Which leads me into the next bonus for you. If you are a new customer to sdbullion.com, like you haven't signed up or bought anything from there yet, there's a link in the description box of this video, which is sdbullion.com/jsnip4. It's a special page they put up for my subscribers who are new customers of theirs. You have a chance to get a 10-ounce silver bar at spot price. No additional fees other than shipping, which is always there. There's always shipping. Shipping in spot price for 10 freaking ounces, which is it's a 10-ounce Proclaim Liberty bar. Fantastic deal for new people, new customers. And again, $17.75 for silver right now. Should this turn into something, I think what the webbots have predicted for a long time ago, this could push it there. $2 move day in silver, turn into $5 day moves in silver, turning into $20 a day moves in silver, turning into $25 a day moves in silver. The data was very clear, black and white. You stole fizzy lifting drink. You good day, sir. Seriously though, the webbot, when there are memes in the webbot that have been around for freaking years and years and years and they just don't happen yet, it's like they're set in stone. It is certain. Like the Magic 8 Ball, is it certain? It is certain. I look down because I actually have a Magic 8 Ball. Is it certain? If something's in the data for a very long time, is it pretty much certain that's going to happen, even if the timing's off? Outlook, not so good. Never mind. Disregard everything I just said. Not going to happen. No. In all seriousness, it's going to happen. And I'm going to remind you of November 2014. Again, because I get new subscribers every day. And I'm getting more subscribers these days than I ever have in my life, which is a beautiful thing. The CFTC, right? They overlook, the market, the COMEX. Well, the one who runs the COMEX is the CME Group, Chicago Mercantile Exchange, a private self-regulating entity. Imagine that. Self-regulating entity. And they set new rules up in 2014 that says if gold goes over, I think $100 in like 15 minutes or whatever, I don't remember the period of time. If it moves, not necessarily goes over, but moves $100, circuit breaker triggered, you can't trade on it for X number of minutes. Cools off, circuit breakers are undone, so to speak. Go ahead and trade again. Boom, still up, does it again, another circuit breaker triggered. This will happen up to 4 times in a day, and then after that, there's no more circuit breaker. And the same thing, same rule, is applied to silver. They didn't apply this rule to anything else, any other commodity, just gold and silver. And for silver, I believe it's $3 in that same type of period of time in a trading day. Circuit breaker triggered, it moved $3. Up, did it again, second circuit breaker triggered, right? Up to 4 times, and that's it. Because you might say, well, if it can only move $3 before a circuit breaker's trigger, how is it going to move $20 or $25? Because the circuit breakers will be triggered rapidly, and then it's game over. It's where the hell is it going? And I'm telling you, we will see movements like you're seeing now in an unrigged market, like cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, Ethereum, all that stuff. That's how a free market behaves. Held down, you let it go, boom, it goes to where the right price, the free market price is. Silver and gold, completely manipulated, they never break out. But God help us all if they do. And I think those days are coming. This is unbelievable news. We will see. Take care.